Okay, so this video is completely going to be about system design. So, yeah, just like the previous videos, we are going to edit the same agent and we are going to add a system design. And we just hit save changes. And remember, you can create as many agents as you want. I'm just updating the same agent which we used in the previous interviews. So it would be clear for you to understand. So now if you see, this has all the different response formats: standard, star, code, and system design. Now, yes, starting the interview again. And as you know, I'll make it visible just for you guys. Yep. So if you have watched the previous video of how to answer the code, this is going to be the similar one. So system design also also follows the same structure as the code does. So whenever the interview gives you a question, something like, can you design a system for shortening a URL? You're going to click on the system design. And similar to code, we are going to describe all the different scenarios. First, we would start with telling what we understood from the question. And then the second, we would tell about, we would ask about clarifying questions. And so should the users be authenticated or are anonymous links are also allowed? The interviewer asks, what do you think? We are going to use the same follow-up again. So I would support both. Anonymous users can create links and authenticated users can manage their links. You're going to give your opinions using this answer follow-up, and clarifying questions will be here. And once you discuss both the this what you understood from the question and also this part which is clarifying questions, you are going to hit on the system design again, and then this will generate you the system design once again with all the assumptions and the clarifying questions clarified. And then the next part is you will have all the functional requirements and non-functional requirements. So the system design interviews are all about documenting stuff. So you are going to keep on writing whatever you speak throughout the interview. Similarly, so once you complete discussing both these things, what you understood and what are the clarifying questions after you discussed, you will start with writing the functional and non-functional requirements. So as you know, depending upon the IDE, we can go with either switching to left or switching to right. So here I feel like I have some extra space on the left hand side. So I would switch this to left, and then I would probably make it something like this. And then you can start working on this tool. So you can start writing the functional requirements and non-functional requirements. So we start with writing functional requirements, non-functional requirements, all those things. So as you speak, you are going to document whatever you are writing here in the Excalibur. And then once you write both of this, we are going to provide you with the APIs. What are the required APIs? So you are going to document the API design as well. So for APIs, I'm thinking we need a couple of APIs. First is create a short link, and this is going to be a post request, and then request and responses. Similarly, a redirect, request and responses, and getting the list of authenticated user links. So I'm thinking of these three APIs, and you're going to list down all the APIs here, and then we can talk about the database design. And in the database design, we will provide you with all the required tables and also the columns in that database. And similarly, we provide a system design high level diagram, and you can use this diagram, and then you can just start drawing the same diagram here as well. So let's say if they ask you any question about this diagram, so let's say they ask you about what is happening after the API gateway. So you just hit on this and you can start answering. So after the API gateway, it is routing to URL shortening service, which is URL shortening service here. So as I told you in the previous videos, we maintain context across all the different windows. So whatever the answer being displayed here, it is known for this window. And similarly, whatever the answer we are creating here, it is also shared with this window. So you can use both the windows and then you can start answering. For whatever reason, if you feel like this answer is not relevant to the diagram, then you can use the small copy button and then you can paste it here and then you can send it here. So from the next time, It will give you more context-aware answers about the diagram, but you don't need to do it. That's for the worst case scenario. We always maintain the context, and whatever the questions they are going to ask you about the diagram or database design or whatever it is, you are just going to click on this answer follow-up and answer them, and you are just going to keep on documenting the stuff. You're going to document the API, and you're going to document the database, you're going to document the diagram and all these things. And yes, use this for answer follow for answering the follow-up questions. That should be pretty much about the system design. Yeah, just please practice before you use the UI. Make sure you know what this switch to right means. And also, since let's say if the interviewer is speaking you the question verbally, you can just directly click on system design. But let's say if they give you a question here on the screen itself, if they paste something like then you can click on this capture screenshot, and then you can click on the system design again. And now if you see, we are going to get the system design for the screenshot here. So it depends upon the situation. So you need to be aware of our UI before you give an interview. So practice, and then that's how the system design works. Thank you.